high school and college that kind of like I kept my love of music up and then found this love of acting and then kind of married the two. And stand up was just liberating because I do it all myself. I write my jokes, I book the venue, I go, I do a show, I invite people, I want to produce my own show. So it just kind of became this other extension of acting where I kind of like get to almost do act outs as myself and tell and perform stories. And it kind of feels like a live, like Netflix performance of my life is what it would be. So I kind of just came from acting and like the frustrations of jumping through all the hoops and then realizing, oh, this is another avenue where I can kind of take more of the reins. And once I started, the doors started opening honestly faster than acting has in some regards. But that was
Mm,
a great experience because it showed me people enjoyed it. I can do this. I ripped the band-aid off in a massive way because I had so many people I knew coming there. So the stakes were kind of high. Like I had to deliver an 8-minute set. I had friends paying to come. I had a booker counting on me. I had money on the line. I really had to like show up and deliver right
well, have
away.
you ever been at a
So
funeral and someone's laughed?
and you're like, how can they laugh? And it's like they almost like need this like cathartic release. So
Mm.
that is interesting. I feel like I'm gonna notice that more now when I watch movies. I'm gonna be like, is there any rock music in it? Is it all mainstream pop? Damn, that just shows kind of how far we've gone ghosting because before that would not be a response by someone. Like if someone like zombies you, and I was like, what do you mean zombies? And she's
Mm.
like, oh, so they ghosted you, but then they come back. So it's like a zombie. And I was like, 100%. It's still a very male dominated industry. And sometimes I go to Mike's and I'm the only girl there. And I know it's going to be a rough show. And these dudes are either all banding together and are not going to laugh at me on purpose. And then I won't even know if my jokes are funny or not just because they're not going to laugh. I've experienced that. But I do feel that a lot. Like I'll go to Mike's and I'll be like, it's all dudes here. I don't even know if my material's gonna hit. It's gonna suck. They're not gonna laugh, but I have to do it anyway. And my coach says those rooms make me better, and I agree, but they're brutal.
Hey everyone, this is Abhi from No-Budget Filmmaking Podcast, and here with me is Kelsey Lane.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I guess where to start? Well, I currently work for Universal Music Group. I do music placements primarily for film. I'm on our film and TV team, but my focus is film. So I handle working with all the indie filmmakers, and then my boss handles all the films that are in theaters. So I assist him with those deals as well. I work on museum projects such as music that's cast in exhibits in the MoMA or the Met, which is cool. I do plays, ballets, podcasts, so all kinds of projects, but my love is film. And then outside of that, I'm a very creative person. So I'm also a stand-up comedian. I'm an actor and I create content. So it keeps me busy doing all of that.
Yeah, okay. Do you have ADHD by any chance, like me?
Why do you say that?
No, because it's me in a way, like because I cannot stay still, and I need to have like 50 different avenues.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's it. It's funny because my stand-up coach, I never thought I had like ADHD, like was never diagnosed with it. And when I first started doing stand-up, I brought her this like giant document of just like jokes written out, and she was like, "This needs to be put down. Like this, no." And then like taught me how to write and condense it in like joke format. But I think it was just like the ADHD typing it out. And she was like, yeah, I tell girls all the time I diagnose them with ADHD. And she said it's because women are so productive that we'll just jump from like task to task to task and we're getting shit done. So it's like we don't even realize we have it. So Honestly, probably. It's like maybe ADHD or like a fear of failure or both. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
well, I think it's real. I mean, a lot of us, I know I like want to be successful. And there's, with certain things like stand up, if you're not, for example, writing new jokes or out there performing or getting dates booked, like someone is outshining you, someone is touring, someone is booking out venues. Or for acting, like if you're not putting in the work and like auditioning, someone else is. So there is kind of always that drive of like, oh, I have to keep going, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Uh, well, I've always loved music. Music's my first love. I was in orchestra and choir growing up, but I knew I didn't want to go the performance route. And my parents are in business, so I kind of thought, well, what's like a middle ground where I can find some sort of stable job that will almost like appease them, but also something creative. And I found there was a major called music business. And so I knew immediately that's what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, if I could like work at a record label, that sounds fun. Or be an artist manager or, sync placement. So I went to college in Nashville. I went to Middle Tennessee State University, studied music business. And that was when the show Nashville was filming and was in its prime and was getting a lot of hype and increasing a lot of tourism in Nashville. And I had a friend tell me to go be an extra on set. And I hadn't really ever acted. I had just done musical theater in high school because I was a dancer. So I would get cast as a dancer, but I never acted. And so my friend told me to go. She was like, oh, it'll be fun. You'll make extra cash, like whatever. And I went and we actually got to act. And I just fell in love with acting and I started taking class. And then after I graduated, I moved to New York and studied at an acting conservatory because I knew if I didn't do it right when I graduated, I wouldn't. And then I was kind of like, let me combine everything. Like, I love music. I want to work in music, but I still want to act and be creative. And so I moved to LA to combine everything. So it's really high school and college that kind of like I kept my love of music up and then found this love of acting and then kind of married the two.
Hmm. That's really interesting. I have to ask you a follow-up on what exactly did you do in Universal right now?
Yeah, so I do music placements for film. So anytime there's a song license in film, for example, like we had a Chapel Roan song in the new movie Freakier Friday. So that
Mhm.
has to get licensed, right? So Chapel has to get paid, who's our artist. And
Mhm.
then production has to make sure that song is licensed securely to be in the movie. So I always describe it as I'm like the mediator. So production or a music supervisor or sometimes the filmmaker themselves, if they're like a more indie film, they'll come to me directly. And they'll be like, we need a song for this amount of terms, perpetuity if it's in theater, 1 year if it's film festival, um, the duration of the song, how the song is going to be used, their budget. I come back with what we typically charge for those fees, the rights, the use, all that. And then we kind of come to a happy medium. And then I go out to our artists. So sometimes that involves me going to the artist management team for approval. Sometimes that's to the label. Sometimes it's international approval. So I have to wait to hear back from the UK or Italy or something in that regard. Sometimes there's a bunch of steps, hip hop artists, they have a bunch of side artists and sample clearances. So that's a bit more involved. But basically, once I secure the rights, I'm like the mediator between advocating for our artist that Chapel Roan, for example, gets paid and production gets to use the song. And then we license it and we send it to contract. So I'm kind of going back and forth doing all the nitty gritty on the fees and the legal, kind of the legalities of it so they can use the song. But then what music supervisors do is they get the added fun element of a lot of times picking the songs. People come to me, they already know which song they want. I don't really get a say in the creative element so much. But I would love to move into more of a creative sync role too, where I could also pitch songs. So someone could come to me and say, hey, for this scene, it's an 80s scene, it's at a roller rink in the 80s. We need upbeat 80s music. And then I would kind of go through a Rolodex of songs that I feel like would fit that.
But I
And
always thought that it was the director that chose the songs.
no, because a lot of times, for example, no offense to directors, but they might have a say in it, right? Because they probably want to say in everything, but they don't really have an understanding sometimes musically. They have a vision for the film. They
Mhm.
might know Taylor Swift might sound good in this film, but they're not always musically inclined. So a music supervisor, for example, I'm going to music supervise a friend's film of mine right now. And he asked me because I understand the licensing process, because that's what I do for a living. And that's something that the director doesn't understand. They don't understand how involved the licensing process is, the nitty-gritty. They might not have a vast range of music, who knows how musically inclined they are, so they know which songs are out there, a variety of styles. So that's kind of where a music supervisor comes in to kind of hone in on that element specifically of the film.
Before I ask you more deep about the music supervisor and music role, I just wanted to learn how did stand-up comedy fit into all of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Stand-up kind of came through acting. I went to acting school kind of open to just I love acting. I want to be an actor. But as I started acting, I kept getting told I was funny by all of my coaches and mentors. And I kept getting cast in comedic scenes, and I kind of fell in love with comedy. And it kind of just one thing led to another. And then when I moved out here, I got involved in Groundlings, which is an improv sketch program, because I thought, oh, if I'm castable as comedy, I got to really hone in on my skills in this community. So I met a lot of my best friends of today. I started, doing improv classes, making sketches. And then I always got to ask, would you do stand up? And I was like, no, absolutely not. I like playing other people. I don't want to talk about myself. And then one day I went to a show at the Improv with friends, and this one girl, I don't remember the details of what she was talking about, but she was telling a story about, her ex-boyfriend and yada, yada, yada. And I just thought, I have stories. And something just kind of snapped in me where I was like, I don't care who knows what. And I just started writing. And then I did my first stand-up show and I just loved it. And then I got really into stand-up because the frustrating thing with acting is always we're at the mercy of our agents getting us auditions or us trying to get auditions or a director liking us, a producer liking us, a casting director. There's so many hoops we have to jump through. And that can be frustrating. And stand-up was just liberating because I do it all myself. I write my jokes, I book the venue, I go, I do a show, I invite people, I want to produce my own show. So it just kind of became this other extension of acting where I kind of like get to almost do act outs as myself and tell and perform stories. And it kind of feels like a live, like Netflix performance of my life is what it would be. So I kind of just came from acting and like the frustrations of jumping through all the hoops and then realizing, oh, this is another avenue where I can kind of take more of the reins. And once I started, the doors started opening, honestly, faster than acting has in some regards.
Any
Yes.
inspiration?
I love Taylor Tomlinson because I'm 31 and she's either turning 31 or almost 31. We're right around the same age. And she's obviously been doing it for a lot longer than I have. But just kind of how she opens up about like her upbringing and mental health struggles and dating, and I just find her very relatable and funny. And also Eliza Schlesinger, I really love her. I feel like her specials really kind of encapsulates like the female experience. Like her special The Elder Millennial is so funny, and she kind of talks about like getting married and like the bachelorette party and all the things you're supposed to do at your wedding. And, I feel like she's going to be doing jokes when she's 50 on like menopause. And it just, I really love like the female comedians, and you kind of one thing that's cool about stand-up is it's kind of like a diary of your life. Like you see the comedian's age and go through different phases. Like Eliza, we saw her kind of as like the young party girl, and then it was a little more like I'm getting engaged and I'm having a yeah, this is my wedding and talking about that phase of life, and then she started having kids, and so you kind of evolve with the people. And also, they're finding like relatable jokes. So I just relate more to the female comedians.
Yeah, that makes sense because again, as a person of color myself, I my favorite is Russell Peters, right? A brown person just joking about our
Yeah.
experiences. So
Hmm.
I get it. Like it's more about how we relate to our life and just make it funnier. I don't know how to
Ex
say it.
exactly. And like, I think you resonate because you're like, it's like a mirror. You're like, oh, I get that. That's funny. And like, I know, like, my humor is not for everyone, and I don't try to be for everyone. And like, I definitely try to draw in specifically. I don't want to rule out men, but specifically females and females my age because they'll relate to my experiences.
Yes. So my follow-up was it's funny you bring that up because my follow-up would be like, how do you research your material and everything and refine it?
Yeah, I write very much based off my life, whatever's going on in my life, I write about. If I'm going through a breakup, I write about it. Um, Sometimes I'm trying to do more observational comedy. That's one thing my coach has pointed out, like something you observe, right? That kind of everyone can relate to. So I have a bit on Meghan Markle's new show because when that came out back in the spring, that like popped up in my Netflix and I just hated it. And so I just wrote a bit on why I hate the show and why I think it's ridiculous. Um, so it kind of just depends. Sometimes, honestly, like my parents will say funny stuff, and I'm like, that's a bit. Like I wrote a whole bit off something my mom said. That's relatable. This week I wrote a bit. Well, actually, I can't say this part, but because it's related to work. But
Hmm.
something happened at work. I'll just say, and I wrote a bit related to work. And like we all can relate to different stuff happening in the workplace. So it's really just whatever is going on in my life that I feel like is funny and I can find the humor in. It can be very therapeutic too. Like if you I always say like the fact that we can take the worst moments of our lives and make jokes about them and laugh about them, like that's sometimes what gets us through. I also have a very dark sense of humor, so sometimes I write I write like dark jokes based off like what comes up.
Oh, that's these are the best, honestly. Dark
The
jokes. I
dark
love,
humor?
yes, I love dark humor. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's just I feel like another level of honesty where it's just like, oh, that hits and that's like messed up but funny.
Yeah, there's okay, I'm gonna say one and you're gonna say another one, okay?
Okay. I like
Okay.
that.
Mm, oh my God, why am I? I'm gonna edit this part out based on your reaction, okay?
Don't
Okay.
edit
Yeah,
it.
one of the
People might
darkest
like dark
jokes.
humor.
Yeah. So, for example, there was one of my friend, and she said, I love my job because it allows me to hook up with as many people as they want. I was like, what do you work at? And she was like, I work as a mortician.
That's funny. That
Yes,
that is the definition of like dark humor.
yes, but
That
that's
is
not for everyone. I cannot say this joke to. It feels like I tried it once and everyone was just looked at me like, oh my God, is he crazy or something?
no, I think that's hilarious. Because
Yeah.
obviously she probably like was not doing that.
Yeah.
One would assume like she wasn't being creepy and doing that, but like that act of like ha ha ha, like my job doesn't care and I could is like a funny spin because then you're like, where the hell does she work? And then when it relates back to people being dead, who she can't sleep with, it's dark, it's funny. I like it.
Yeah. What about your? I really want to know some of your material that you can share.
Oh yeah. Well, dark humor. Oh, this is dark. So last year, my one of my best friends out here died by suicide,
Oh.
and honestly, to kind of cope with that, I started writing about it. And so I wrote about um I made a lot of like funeral jokes about like having to go to the funeral and jokes about that. I'm trying to remember specifically off the top of my head. I don't do those all the time, specifically because my coach is like, you can't just do like your friend dying as like a club set. Like that's gonna make people really sad. That has to be like its own thing. Um, but that's an example of like dark humor.
Hmm. Okay, okay. I will. I will. I definitely will. Okay, and also, so let's talk more on this. When you started out, what did you expect, and what was if there was any shock when you started performing, and before, obviously, you just write things, you know?
Oh, like the shock factor of performing?
Yeah, the first time, what was your experience like performing a stand-up first time?
The first show was great, honestly. I didn't know what to expect. This venue, that's now literally like kind of a hole in the wall. Like I wouldn't want to do a show there, but it was great to start with. They booked me without having any clips, without having any experience. They just gave me an 8 minute set right off the bat, which was such a gift. And they paid me for every person I brought. And because it was my first show, of course, all my friends wanted to see if I was could actually do this, if I was actually any good, and also would just be nice and come and support me. So I had 24 friends come and I made $200 my first night, which was crazy. I've not made that that since. Sometimes I get paid when I do a show, sometimes I don't. A lot of time you're just trading spots with people or you're doing a spot for free. Sometimes I get paid. I would love to get paid all the time doing it, but that was a great experience because it showed me people enjoyed it. I can do this. I ripped the band-aid off in a massive way because I had so many people I knew coming there. So the stakes were kind of high. Like I had to deliver an 8 minute set. I had friends paying to come. I had a booker counting on me. I had money on the line. I really had to like show up and deliver right away. So it was a great experience because I got to celebrate with all my friends and be like, wow, I just did this. And then have friends be like, I really think this is your thing. You should keep going.
And it was a great set. And anything changed after that or no?
Oh yeah, it ebbs and flows. You hear of comedians being like, all comedians bomb, and that's true. I had a set where I bombed and it was terrible. And I couldn't figure out why. And it was different. Didn't have the support of friends there. I had like two friends come to this show. It's mainly people that I didn't know. It was a long show. I was near the end. They were tired. Someone had said a poor AI joke in the partway through the set that turned people off. I don't remember what they said, but it was something related to AI that was off-putting. People looked like they were being held hostage at the DMV. Like people were not here for it. It was bad. And because I was so new, I didn't know how to regain the audience back. And I could have said that on stage, like, wow, you guys look like you're being held hostage at the DMV.
Yeah.
I could have said something funny to kind of acknowledge the dead air in the room, but I didn't. I just like plowed through my set and people weren't having that and it sucked, but it was a good learning experience. And it really depends on so many factors. The venue, how much is the audience here for you? Do you have support in the audience? Are people vibing with you? Is there a situation beforehand that was out of your control, like this one, where I would need to recover the room? Did someone lose the room? Um, so there's so many factors that go into it. So you kind of never know, which
Mm.
can be kind of exciting in some ways. Yeah, I learned
Yeah.
something from every show. I record myself every time I do it. Sometimes I get tapes back so I can see what I'm doing too, which is helpful. But I always record myself so I can listen back and here where I got big laughs, or here, oh, that didn't land for some reason, and that joke usually lands. Why didn't it land this time? Or, oh, this part didn't hit. Or you can count where you get so nitty-gritty sometimes. I haven't done this and I need to do this, but my coach will have me and other girls she works with highlight and see how many laughs we get per minute. And then
Hmm.
you highlight where the big laughs, where the medium laughs, where the smaller laughs. Comedy gets so technical, and that's what's fascinating to me. It's you know, even when people at a show like drink water on stage, a lot of times they're not casually drinking water. That's planned because it kind of adds to the humor. If you throw out a big punchline and the audience, it takes a minute to register it and they're like, whoa. And then the comedian just kind of throws it away and drinks a sip of water, it makes it funnier. Um, it's very technical. Even like you can't move when you're delivering a punchline. If you're walking, you need to stop and deliver it. It's fascinating. It's kind of like a study sometimes in a way.
Hmm. I didn't know that there was a lot of technical aspects of these shows.
I didn't either till I started doing it. I didn't know like how involved it was because people try to, honestly, I think the really good comedians make it look so effortless. Kind of reminds me of like those figure skaters in the Olympics who are really good and they're just like doing all these turns and spinning and you're like, wow, they're incredible and they make it look so easy, but like obviously like the average person couldn't do that. And I think a really good stand-up makes it look like they're just up there saying stuff off the cuff and they're casual and they're conversational, but it's so planned. And like sometimes not, right? Because sometimes we crowd work, but a lot of it is quite planned.
Yeah, there's one complaint that I have for the current stand-up. That
Oh, tell me.
it's I'm here to hear your story, and I don't want you to pick apart some other person that is just sitting there enjoying their show and just make
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree with that. I like joke sometimes like I do crowd work sometimes as a way to engage people because if you're asking them a question, then they're kind of like, oh, does that apply to me? But I never want to harass anyone because they paid to be there. And like you said, they were trying to enjoy the show. And like, I hate it when I go to a show and a entertainer like harasses me. So I don't want to do that. So I get that. I kind of take the approach as like, how Taylor Tomlinson does crowd work. I really like how she does it because she'll be like, does anyone have any tips on like, sleeping? I've been having trouble sleeping and don't give me the usual, I've done it all. Don't give me the like, and she'll like throw out like a few like stereotypical things to fall asleep faster. And then people that seem engaged that want to talk, she'll call on them. Or sometimes she'll say something to someone and then she's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to talk to a live entertainer either. But she doesn't like crucify people ever. And like, I get that too, because I'm like, I don't like that when I go to a show. So I'm not going to do that to someone.
Yeah, and especially like I get it when you do it to a heckler, I get it, but yeah, I don't I don't really like a lot of crowd work. You know what I mean? When it's like overbearing in some way. Have you felt that?
Y- Yeah, yeah. And sometimes the crowd like doesn't want to participate. Like what if you call on someone and they're like not really here for it?
Hmm.
Then you're stuck trying to do like banter with someone that doesn't want to like volley it back. So yeah, yeah, that's a gamble. But I hear you on just like roasting someone for the sake of roasting them, just for being there in the front row. I'm like, no, no, no.
Hmm.
Like, think of
Okay.
other jokes.
Yes, absolutely. And one more thing, like, do you know, is it planned or pre-planned or no? Does it happen that when some of the crowd work is already scripted and everything?
Um, it's a good question. I think it depends. Sometimes you can, you know, I think a lot of comedians sometimes have pre-planned crowd works. Um, like for me, I'll ask one question. I have a bit on the Viper Room. how I hate going to the Viper Room, but I went there a lot because my ex performed there. I work in music. So I'm like, has anyone been to the Viper Room? And a lot of times if I'm doing shows in Hollywood, West Hollywood, they're like, yes. And then I'm like, did anyone catch COVID there? And then sometimes someone will be like, oh my gosh, I did. So just kind of throwing it out there. And that's like pre-planned to kind of like build a premise and get the crowd engaged. Sometimes it's not. Like, if something, I don't know. Let's say if something happens in the show, like the waiter drops something and there's like a loud crash, or you're outside and you hear a noise, then you kind of have to like do some crowd work and acknowledge what happened. Or if something's going on in the audience, you might acknowledge it. You might be like, oh, thank you for that internal laughter. Like
Mm,
if you thought you were going to get a laugh and no one laughed, then you're kind of making fun of yourself and acknowledging the audience didn't laugh, and then you usually get a laugh from that. That would be off the cuff. So it kind of depends. But I know some comedians will go up there and they'll just kind of like they scan the crowd and then they're like, "Oh, are you guys together?" And the couple will be like, "Oh, no, no, we're just friends." And they're like, "I don't know. He seems like he wants to be more." And then they'll just riff based off that. And like that wasn't planned. They just looked at someone and then created a bit.
mm. Yeah, that's a talent itself. Even though I don't like it, it's
Yeah, it is. Crowd work can be tough. And I know it's something like we're all trying to like work and get better at. And like we'll go to workshops like how to crowd work better. Or sometimes if I'm at a mic, people are like, I'm just trying to practice my crowd work. And then they'll call out questions because that is a whole other skill.
Mm. Yeah,
I agree.
because if the it's not pre-planned or anything and someone shoots you something really different, then it's yeah, you don't know what you're getting, to be
Yeah, that's
honest.
so true. Yeah, you really don't. And that's what's interesting is like sometimes you get people that like don't want to crowd work or don't want to like give you anything. And then sometimes you get people that are engaged. So sometimes that's why I throw questions out to the room because I'll see if someone has an energetic response. And then I'm like, oh, okay, they want to like play ball. I can like ask them further questions.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. Okay, one question that popped into my mind when you're telling all the dark stories and everything. What's the riskiest joke you ever told a crowd?
The riskiest, like the most like risque.
Yeah, in a way, like you'll be like, oh, I don't know, but I really want to try it. Or maybe, okay, it's too dark, but I really want to see the reaction or something like that.
Oh, well, here's a dark one that I remembered after we moved on from it. So, since you brought it up again, I have a whole bit on like how I went to my friend who passed her apartment and met her parents for the first time, and her parents were offering to give me stuff of hers. And so her mom tried to give me a box of her tampons because none of it, because they like it was just there, and I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, actually, thank you, Mary Kay. I will take these, and she was a smart girl. She liked the jumbo pack, and I will think of her every 4 weeks. So it's kind of like a dark, weird joke. In reality, I didn't take the box of tampons, but I thought that was such an odd thing she tried to give me that I wrote a joke about it. Or like another really dark one, kind of risque one is like she had this photo in her bathroom. It was like it was like 10 Barbies in a row, but it was like the backside of them. So it was like Barbie was naked. I'm not describing this photo very well. So 10 naked Barbies, but you're seeing like their backs. But I thought it was like a funny like photo. I was just like, oh, naked Barbie. Like I would like want that. So I like brought it up to her mom when I was there, like getting stuff, because I was like, oh, what about like the naked Barbie photo in her bathroom? And her mother, Mary Kay, was like, her brother took that photo. And I was like, what the fuck is her brother gonna do with that photo? Masturbate to it?
Yes.
Like, ew, no. And Trey doesn't need that. Like, so that is like a kind of like a risky, off-putting joke, right? I'm talking about her brother, my dad friend's brother masturbating to a naked Barbie picture. That,
That
mm, mm.
that's funny. I like both of those jokes. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, because again, you have your friend helping you in the afterlife with all the with tampons, like,
She
okay.
really did. She would have laughed at that and been like so appalled her mom did that. So she would have like loved to joke around that.
Yeah, that's
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. It was like the most but that's what's great about stand up is it was like the most horrible day. Like I'm going
yeah.
over to her apartment and I'm meeting her grieving parents and I found out one day ago, but then it's like you can find humor within that. Like once you've processed it and you've taken a step back, like the tampons is so crazy and the
Naked.
Barbie photo and
Yeah.
like there is always like humor.
Mm.
And that I think is like the best lesson it's taught me is to just like find the humor in everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think that's why sometimes you'll find people at a funeral. Have you ever been at a funeral and someone's laughed? And you're like, how can they laugh? And it's like they almost like need this like cathartic release,
Mm.
you know? Um, so yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
you wanna laugh sometimes to have that release because you are sad, but you can still laugh at these stories of your grandpa and the memories you have with him and the funny things he did.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and we again, there's a lot of things to be sad about, but again, we cannot be crying all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I can't cry anymore, so I might as well. I'd rather laugh.
Yeah, because I guess it's the absurdist comedies and everything what started after World War II too, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, did it? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I know that. I studied theater and everything. So after that, it was like the absurdist comedies. All of them were a result of World War II. People were like waiting for Godot. It was written right
Mm.
after World War II.
Was it to like boost morale? I assume like people were so upset from the war that they were trying to find some sort of solace.
I guess it's I don't know how to say it. It's more like try to find humor or meaning in all those senseless violence that happen and all the horrific things
Mm.
that happen. Curious. I think that's
Yeah.
before in early 2000s and everything, we used to see a lot of rock music played in the movies, right? Early rock
Mm.
and everything. And I don't know why it disappeared out of nowhere. Don't you think?
That is a good point. Sorry, it cut out a little bit. Did you say hard rock specifically?
No, I just said rock.
Just rock? That is a good point. I haven't specifically thought about that trend, and now I'm like intrigued to go back and look at movies of the early 2000s and be like, yeah, where exactly did that drop off? Can you think of a movie in particular? It's okay if not. I'm
Uh,
curious.
like where the rock music was used?
Yeah, or if there was one that had like a couple maybe featured rock songs.
Actually, almost all of them did. Remember, like for early Scooby-Doo's, and even
Mm.
like in while promoting it, there was like in both Batman Begins and Spider-Man, there was Nickelback songs used, and yeah, I know they're a laughing stock in the music
I know
community.
I'm
I love
laughing
it.
because I have a specific joke about Nickelback in my set, but yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
tell it. Now you have to tell it.
Now I have to tell it. It was from the my own bit I forgot earlier, which was what do I say? Oh, I say if there so next time you're watching Spider-Man and you hear that sweet music by Nickelback, you're welcome. Because I had just talked about doing sync licensing, and then the end is I say that basically like I'm the one syncing Nickelback into the
Okay,
movies you watch. But
okay, yeah.
but yeah, that is a good point, and that's interesting you picked up on that too. I hadn't thought about that, and I don't know. I kind of wonder if maybe, you know, how even movies used to be done differently, like even comedy movies aren't done the same way anymore. And I find a lot of my friends and I go back and watch those like 90s or 2000 rom-coms because they just don't make them the same. I wonder if it's the same with music placements because honestly, sometimes now I have a hard time syncing rock music. I love rock music, but like there's a rock band I'm thinking of now, and I love their music. I love every song, but I can think of like a couple songs that I feel like would be more syncable. I mean, it's like, but it's a good question. It's like, has our taste changed? Did we just gravitate away from that? Just kind of how like filmmaking changes and the style isn't the same as it used to be in the early 2000s and 90s. Did music kind of change along with that? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. But I do agree, like now I have a hard time syncing rock bands. And I know we have one specific label under us, Lava, and not that they have all the rock artists, but the up and coming ones are signed by Lava because they take that risk and they take them on, where other labels will be like, I don't know if this is mainstream enough, and they won't take on incredible artists, and this label does. So that is interesting. I feel like I'm going to notice that more now when I watch movies. I'm going to be like, is there any rock music in it? Is it all mainstream pop?
Yeah, usually. I think it's after okay, what's the current trend now, if you want to educate me on that?
Mm, I would say, I mean, there's always going to be whatever artist is hot at the moment that people want. Like, there's a lot of Chapel Roan, there's a lot of Sabrina Carpenter. There was a lot of David before his investigation
Oh
broke
my
out.
God.
Now everyone is rescinding his music, rightfully so. He wasn't popular in the film world. I've never synced any music for him, but in the ad space, he was really popular and they're pulling all of his music. Um, there's a lot of people want the classics. You know, sometimes they want a Guns N' Roses song, or Nirvana. Sometimes, you know, Taylor Swift, of
Mhm.
course. Sometimes there are artists I've never heard of because we have such a vast catalog that I'm like, wait, who is this person? And they're an indie artist or they're an older artist I've never heard of. Um, I think it just kind of depends, but I would definitely obviously like pop music over like what we had talked about before, where rock had more of a presence.
Interesting. And obviously with the 80s nostalgia, I think a lot of 80s music had seen an enormous amount of resurgence.
Yes, yeah. The older hits, always people want those. I don't always see that because of I work with smaller budgets. So I don't always see like the hits I advise people they might not be able to get, but my boss definitely works with clearing those, like the 80s hits.
Hmm. That's really interesting because I was having a conversation with my friend. First
Mhm.
of all, have you seen the whole Stranger Things all seasons or no?
I have not, but were you going to talk about the song The Running Up That Hill that blew
Yeah.
up from it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because my friend told me that his dad said that when that song came out, no one heard of it, and now it's a classic.
100%. And when I joined our team, that was right after that song had gone viral, and our team was kind of like, you know, we were getting pressure from up above. How can we make that happen? We need to have a viral sensation. And the thing is, like, we don't know when a song is going to go viral. Like, the music supervisors can do their best, we can do our best. It's kind of almost like just a magic kismic thing. Like one example we had that kind of blew up was we did the show The Last of Us. I didn't work specifically on that because I'm not on the TV team, but our TV team did that. And there was in one episode They used, was it Lynn? I need to look up her name. I'm gonna look it up right now because I don't want to misspeak. I think it's Linda Reinhardt. I'm just not positive of her last name, but I think it's Reinhardt. But she's an older artist. Let me look that up right now so I get my facts straight. Music, Last of Us. Where was it? Mm, is it this? Ugh. I'm gonna have to look it up. That's gonna bother me. What song? It was Linda, and I'm blanking on her last name. Linda, here we go. Linda Ronstadt, Ronstadt. And we used her song Long, Long Time. They placed that in Last of Us, and it had three consecutive uses. It was like kept reoccurring throughout this episode in increments, and then the show ended with this song. This song blew up after. This is an older artist. No one's listening to really Linda unless you're like a longtime fan of her. And then suddenly everyone was like streaming long, long time, and her streams went way up. And everyone was kind of like, whoa, where did this come from? And it's kind of like this random happy accident almost, just like with running up that hill. That is crazy. And I think that's why so many artists, despite it paying very well if you get a sync placement, want their music because they're hoping they're that song that people listen to in a show, in a movie, and love, or are like, what's this song? And then look it up.
Yeah, like also I think it happens with social media as well. Social media plays a huge role in some songs. That's why I guess David got popular.
Yes, because he was making, yeah, he blew up on TikTok. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
it's yeah, whatever that is.
I know
I
whatever that mess is, it's terrible. It's sad.
it's really, really sad. It's almost like have you seen the Key and Peele sketch?
Oh my gosh, no. I need to look that up. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gnarly. And also like his songs, like his song called Romantic Homicide. It's like, did you kill this girl and then write a bunch of songs about it and then get famous off of it and now it's all coming out? It honestly sounds like a Netflix movie. I think one day it would be a Netflix movie.
Yeah, maybe a comedy. I don't know. A dark comedy.
God. Yeah. My gosh. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't stop talking about it at work.
Yeah, really? Okay. What about okay, since a little bit off topic, what's your favorite dark comedies?
Oh, my gosh, that's a good question. Oh, I just thought of one. I was lately I've been really into The Hunting Wives. I finished it. I would categorize that as a dark comedy.
No.
Have you watched it or heard of it?
I've I don't think so, sorry.
It's so good. It's on Netflix and I it just started coming up on my feed and then this podcaster I listened to, like an influencer, raved about it. And so
Mm,
I was like, okay, I should watch it. I probably like it. It's Brittany Snow is the lead and it's about like this group of women in Texas who it's kind of like you know, they're out there hunting.
mm,
Their relationship dynamics are really interesting. They're all intertwined with each other in different ways. I don't want to give away any spoilers. The
mm,
show starts where there's a murder right off the bat, so you know there's going to be a dark element to it,
mm,
but it's also kind of just like campy and funny at different points, like these how these
mm,
women behaved. Honestly, how everyone in the cast behaves. Because they're all just kind of like over the top, insane characters. And I watched the first episode and I was like, everyone's like batshit crazy. And then as you go on, you just kind of like get behind it. You're like, okay, that's the show. It's crazy. It's big. I just accept it. And then it becomes really riveting. And it ends with a really interesting cliffhanger. But I would recommend that as a dark comedy.
mm. Any movies?
Movies, dark comedy.
Like I have The Hunt. Have you heard of The Hunt?
Yes. but I don't remember anything about it. Is it a thriller? It is a dark comedy though, you would say?
Yeah, it's a dark comedy and basically riffing off on the political drama, like liberal people hunting Republicans.
Oof. Yes, that would definitely be a dark comedy of the times.
Yes, it is a dark comedy, and it's a really it's hilarious to be honest.
Oh my gosh, did it just come out?
No, 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 it was in 2022, if I'm not
Oh,
wrong, or
okay.
2020, earlier, really earlier, like early COVID days, if I'm
Oh,
not wrong.
is it on Netflix?
Oh, it was in 2020 and it's on Peacock.
Oh, okay. Peacock has really evolved, I will say. Like it started out with I was like, I don't need to subscribe to this, and now I
Hmm.
feel like so many shows and movies are on it. I might constantly subscribe to that. I'm like, I need Peacock up there with Netflix.
Yeah, it depends. I guess if you have like, what service do you use for your phone?
Verizon.
I think there might be some promotion or whatever that help you like get it for half the price. Because I get,
Ooh,
yeah, on T-Mobile I get Apple TV and Netflix and Hulu for free. So,
dang. I have not heard of anything from Verizon. Maybe they're just being cheap on all of us, or I'll have to
yeah.
ask. I'll be like, T-Mobile's doing this. What do you have to offer?
No, I think Verizon should have too. They're not AT&T. They hate their customers.
AT&T hates their customers?
Yes.
Wait, do your friends have AT&T or what do you know? What's the T on
Yes.
AT&T?
I guess it's like every time they have some like every time some other carrier has really good service and they do their news like other carrier drops their prices by $2, AT&T jacks it up by two for some reason. I don't know why. And it's a
Yeah.
trend. It's a
Maybe
trend.
that's why I can't even think of anyone that has AT&T. I feel like anytime I ask someone, it's Verizon or T-Mobile.
Yeah, and I think that's smart of them.
Yeah. Maybe that's a stand-up bit. AT&T hates their customers. They
Yeah, it
offer
is.
no specials. They jack up their prices. They want you to leave.
Yeah, and I don't know, people still go there, and you're crazy if you go there. Also, there's like Ready or Not. It's a movie, Ready or Not. Do you remember?
That also sounds very familiar. I've not seen that.
It's about a new wife that is being hunted by their in-laws.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds intriguing. I need to watch that.
Okay, let me look it up right away before.
Yes.
It's on Hulu and Disney
Ooh.
Plus.
Okay, nice. I have Hulu.
American Psycho. I'm not sure if it is a comedy or not, but I laugh at certain scenes,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially the card.
What happens in that scene? I've not seen it.
Oh my God,
I have a lot I need to
you
watch.
do you really like dark humor or are you just playing with us?
I do like dark humor, but I will say it's not my go-to to watch. I go for like the fairy light comedies, the rom-coms. I love good reality TV. Like that's my go-to.
Oh, are
But then when
you
I get into a dark comedy, then I'm like, ooh, this is good, but I don't always seek it out.
hmm. Oh, okay. Are you like a trashy reality TV person that Oh, okay.
100% lately, I've been really into the reality TV world.
Oh, okay.
But tell me more about American Psycho. What happens in this card scene?
I don't know how to explain it.
I just have to watch it.
Yeah, I cannot explain it. Honestly, I
Okay.
cannot. I can
I'll add
share
it
it
to the
up.
list.
I can share it right now and we can watch it together, but again, you will not get it
Oh,
because
because
you have
I have to watch the movie to get it. The premise. I won't understand the premise. Okay, I'm gonna wait so I fully can get the joke then with the card scene.
yes, absolutely. And again, what reality show do you like to watch? We have a Big Brother fan. I have a really Big Brother fan here.
Really? Okay, I applied to be on Big Brother earlier. I would love
Oh,
to be on Big Brother. That would be fun. Um, yes, I've watched a little bit of that because I really love Brittany Haynes. She was on Traders, but she was on previously on Big Brother. I love Traders. Did you like Traders?
I'm honestly the only reality TV show I know it's this one, and one of them is Homestead People. I only watched these two.
Oh.
I don't know anything about it.
You might like Traders. It's like real life mafia. Alan Cummings hosted it, and it's this at this
Hmm.
castle in Scotland, and it's all people from reality TV. So people from Big Brother, Survivor, The Bachelor, and they're all in this mansion together. And they're, are you a faithful? Are you a traitor? And it's so interesting. So it's like a mafia game. And then every morning at breakfast, someone doesn't come back because they were
Oh.
killed off. And so then they go out in, in Scotland, they do like these games, then they come back, then they have a big lavish dinner and they're all like judging each other. So they're all walking around like sidebarring, like, oh, who do you think did it? Who do you think is a traitor? Then they have their round table meeting where they all accuse each other of who they think is the traitors, take a vote, cast that person out. Then that person has to say, you were wrong, I was a faithful, or I was a traitor. And then at the end of every episode, the traitors all get together and like they call it the turret and they like decide who they're gonna kill on the next episode. And it just keeps going. But it's
Hmm.
so fun. I feel like you would like that.
Okay. Okay. Right. That's amazing. Oh,
Right?
yeah, it must be hilarious to see. Honestly, I can
It
see
is.
it.
It's really funny too because it's like as the audience like who the traders are, so you're just like watching it them uncover it in real time. So you're watching them being like, I think it's Danielle because she was so over the top crying like I think she was putting on a show and then like it's not her and then you're like wait what like it's just it's fun. I recommend it. That's
Okay.
one thing I love about reality TV is the best people on reality TV are like unhinged and
Yeah.
also like just themselves, so they just like they're crying if they're upset, they're saying whatever flies out of their mouth like this guy, like it's just chaos and it's like the
Yes.
best way to like unwind.
Yeah, and it is amazing to see, and I guess there's a lot of material there if you're looking for variety.
There's definitely a lot of material there, that's for sure.
Yeah. And one more thing I wanted to ask. How oh fudge, that's a I don't know. Okay, fine. How do you make transitions between the jokes? I always was curious, like when you are done with one material in one set, and how do you move to next? Because I don't know how they do it.
That is true. I try to find a thread line. So I try if I'm doing jokes on the music industry that night, they all kind of have a through line where they'll connect and build a story. Or if I'm not doing that, I'm doing other jokes. Um, it's hard 'cause sometimes I write it in an order, and if I stick to that order, it'll have a through line, and I'll have what we call callbacks. So I'll reference things earlier in my set. Sometimes when I'm mixing things around, I just kind of have to like build a transition. So I'll be like completely unrelated, and then I'll just go into like my next thing, or I'll find a way to connect it. You also don't have to connect things. I personally like to connect it because it feels more like we're storytelling and it feels more cohesive. But some comedians just go like joke to joke to joke or bit to bit to bit and they don't connect it. And you can do that too. I always like find it fascinating too. There's some comedians where they just kind of throw out like one or two liners and then it's like different topic and they're just like very short, quick like zingers, which is also very interesting to me. Yes, and I
Hmm.
feel like when you're doing a special and you have time to build that hour-long set, then you definitely could. Like I would do bits that all tie together, then go to your next thing that ties together while having jokes that reference back to previous things in the set. I feel like that's very like coordinated where they want it to be cohesive. And some of the humor comes from them tying it back to stuff they said earlier in the set. So for like an hour special, definitely yes. If you're doing like a club set, sometimes there'll be transitions, sometimes it's just like next thing, depending on how much time you have.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think, sometimes crowd work is purely just to engage people again, just to get
Hmm.
them. engaged if anyone's zoned out
Mhm.
or, just to kind of be like, hey, we're in this together and get them to respond and then keep going. So yeah, I would. I've been trying to find good movies recently, and there's not been a lot that stuck out to me. So I've been watching more TV shows than movies, but I watched The Materialist last week and I really liked that show. Or sorry, that movie. That was interesting.
Hmm. Have you seen the new Naked Gun?
No, I haven't.
Oh, have you seen the original?
Uh-uh.
Oh
I
my
have
God.
not.
Yeah, I love Leslie Nielsen and his comedies. Airplane, the Wrongfully Accused, the Naked Gun series. It's hilarious and he's amazing.
Oh
He
yeah,
will be
he's
missed.
great. Yeah. I should watch that. I have the A-list pass, so I could go in theaters and see it. I've tried to take advantage of that. I saw F1 in theaters this summer. That
Hmm.
I was kind of like, all right, I'll see F1. I knowing really nothing about that world, but I loved it. I thought that was a great movie. Have you seen F1?
No, I went on a date with that. We were supposed to watch it for a date, second
Uh-huh.
date, and I went to the wrong parking spot and she left me there. So,
Oh my
so
God, that's so tragic. We hold on, let's dissect this.
okay.
You had trouble parking before the movie, and in that time when you were trying to find a new parking spot, the girl up and left.
Uh, Not really. The thing is that I went, so there was two theaters nearby, like rarely, like less than a mile away from each other. And
Oh,
I
and you
went
went
to,
to the wrong theater.
yeah,
And wait, why did she leave though? That's so rude. You weren't you just like, hey, I went to the wrong theater. Sorry, I'll be
yeah,
there in like 15 or something.
right now. But there's a lot of ghosting that's been going on.
Oh,
So she
I
thought I
know.
was ghosting her. And she was like, I'm sorry, it was a trauma response. Then I have to win her back and like basically beg to have to still meet on that day so that I can comfort her in a way. It didn't work out in the end, but again, yeah, that's what's happening right now.
Damn, that just shows kind of how far we've gone ghosting because before that would not be a response by someone. Like I get it to a degree, but that isn't that wild? Like before you would just be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm at the wrong spot. I'll be there soon." And now we're so ghosting has become so much part of our culture
Hmm.
that we just assume that's what's happening. That's
Yeah.
sad.
It's a lot of things are really sad. It makes me sad and yeah. Yeah, I literally turned 30 this year, and it was just see a lot of 30-year-olds and even older act like this. It's just weird. A lot of people just ghost you out of nowhere, and a lot of people have genuine trauma about dating and everything. It's funny and
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of jokes in the ghosting. Yeah. A friend told me this term the other week and I hadn't heard of it. She was like, if someone like zombies you, and I was like, what do you mean zombies? And she's like, oh, so they ghosted you, but then they come back. So it's like a zombie. And I was like, that's a new term. I have not even heard of it. Like, what? We have this whole other term now, a zombie. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it either. And
Yeah.
yeah, do you have any jokes about the ick?
Oh, I don't, and I really should because I'm like thinking of one right now. Like I got the ick so bad last summer because I was dating this guy. I really liked him. And I went over to his apartment and it was like so messy. And his bathroom was like just full on disgusting. There was no other way to spin it. It was just nasty. And I was just like, dear God, like a cleaner needs to get in here like ASAP. And you're gonna have to pay them like double because they're gonna be in there for so long. Like it's not an unusual cleaning process. Like they're gonna be backlogging to God knows when. The sad thing is I liked him so much, so I was trying to like look past it. Like, do you see how I'm future casting? I'm like, well, he'll just get a cleaner and
Oh
then
yeah.
it'll be fine. Um, I kept seeing him and then it like didn't work out. And then I was like, you know what? I got the ick so bad when I was at his apartment and I didn't listen to that. But yeah, ugh. But
Yeah,
that is real. I
yeah,
agree.
that's a reasonable response. Like, yeah, sometimes hygiene is a reasonable response for any guy or girl. If a girl is unhygienic, it's a good reason to at least tell them to at least clean up, right?
Oh my gosh, seriously. What I just thought of, because we were talking about TV shows and movies and now the ick. Did you ever watch the show Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody?
No, no.
I loved it. It was such a good show. Season 2 is coming out soon in October. But in the first season, it's all about Kristen Bell and Adam Brody's relationship as they start dating. And there's one episode called The Ick, and it's all
Mhm.
about Adam's character giving Kristen Bell like the ick. And
Oh.
her like natural instinct is to like run when the ick happens, and then she sticks it out and like looks past it. But
Mm,
like it also depends what level the ick is. Like his level of ick in the show, I don't want to like ruin it, but it was like off-putting, but it wasn't a deal breaker.
mm,
Like this guy being unhygienic and his bathroom being a shithole and really his apartment,
mm.
that could be a deal breaker.
Yeah, that's the whole apartment which is like his whole apartment was like a woman repellent, right? It was so dirty.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I'm like, dude, you invited me over here. Like you should have like made this presentable and inviting. Like
Mm.
you knew I was coming.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. And there's some unreasonable icks too, like if he doesn't dress a certain way or something like that, he breathes too hard or something like that. That's unreasonable, right?
Yeah, that's so nitpicky. Although I did find myself getting icked out by a dude's laugh the other week where I thought like, what if I had to listen to that laugh every day? Like, could I do it?
Oh,
Because it was, I just was like, I don't know about that. So we'll see.
yeah.
He didn't have a bad sounding voice, though, I will say. It was just his laugh.
Oh, was it like oh, there's one reality show. It's in one of these European countries where they bring people from, they have the eccentric laughs and they sit them together and listen to them. So there was this one guy's laugh. I don't know how I can. It's like a donkey dying.
Oh my
Like it
gosh.
was, yeah. It was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
It was so
That's
funny.
wild.
That's a reality TV show I would love. I still love, I guess.
Yeah, that would be entertaining for sure. That's crazy. That's such an off the wall laugh that this was this guy's like regular laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Uh,
again, the laugh can be worse.
that's definitely way worse. He did not sound like a dying donkey, so maybe I should give him another chance. That laugh
Yeah.
is terrible. Isn't it interesting how some people have contagious laughter where you love their laugh and then it makes you laugh, and then other people sound like a dying donkey, and then
Yes.
there's just in between. It's like, what is spectrum?
Yes. And some people like I don't know, but like some people have some really good energy. Like the moment you start talking to them, you start feeling a little bit giddy inside. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. Like if your energy's matched or you're
Mhm.
feeding off that person, then you're like, oh, this is fun. Or sometimes you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and some people they just walk in and all they suck all the energy out of the whole premise.
Oh my gosh. Yes, they're just like a mood killer.
Yeah, the energy
Mhm.
vampires, like in What We Do in the Shadows.
Whoa, that is so true. They just suck the energy right out of the room.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't.
For music, I would say really for any job, it's all about who you know. And so I would say trying to find internships or trying to go to networking events to meet other people in the industry who can connect you with jobs you want, would be the best way to go. If you're at the point where you're younger, you could intern and work for free and maybe have a side job. That's the best route to go to gain experience, to meet contacts, to then get a job. If you're a bit older and maybe you want a job transfer, maybe you're interested, I would say really just try to message people on LinkedIn, try to connect with as many people as possible because your referrals are going to be key. And even then, referrals don't always work. Like the job market's tough, but if you can at least find someone at the company or learn about as much of the job as you can beforehand, try to learn maybe what softwares are involved or have spoken to someone about it. Just anything you do to kind of set yourself apart would be the best. And for stand up, it's really, if you've never done it, I would say it's really just ripping off the band-aid and going for it and just doing it, just getting out to mics, doing shows, knowing that it's going to be a mix of highs and lows. Some shows you're going to feel a high after, some shows you're going to bomb or it wasn't great, and just keep going if you like it. And work begets work. And I think if you're out there, you're doing shows, you meet a booker, that booker will introduce you to someone and it'll keep going. So that's my advice for both of those.
Hmm. As a woman and as a woman comedian, did you ever felt there's a little bit of bias against you? Because we heard a lot of chatter online that, okay, women aren't funny or all those shitty things that
Oh
people would say.
yeah, 100%. It's still a very male-dominated industry. Luckily, I'm a part of a great female community in LA. We all support each other. We go to each other's shows. We help each other with our jokes. We work with a coach. There's a really strong female community, but if you just go to kind of any given mic and maybe they're not, if you go to any mic outside of the all-female mics, I experience that all the time. Sometimes I meet guys and they're very respectful and they, you know, will see me as another equal and will laugh at my jokes and we can banter and they're nice and respectful and it's great. And sometimes I go to mics and I'm the only girl there and I know it's going to be a rough show. And these dudes are either all banding together and are not going to laugh at me on purpose. And then I won't even know if my jokes are funny or not just because they're not going to laugh. I've experienced that, or sometimes they're just not even really supporting each other or they are and it's like a little bro club. But I do feel that a lot. Like I'll go to mics and I'll be like, it's all dudes here. I don't even know if my material's gonna hit. It's gonna suck. They're not gonna laugh, but I have to do it anyway. And my coach says those rooms make me better, and I agree, but they're brutal. But you just kind of do your material and get out. So I kind of take the temperature of the room. But yeah, I still very much notice that.
Hmm. And your advice would be just go through it, no matter how hard
Yeah.
it gets.
Yeah, because it's essentially like doing a room where the crowd's rough that night. Maybe they're dead, maybe the room's lost, and you have to try to recover them. Um, opening yourself up to people beyond what your fan base would be, or sh situations that I don't want to say uncomfortable because you should never put yourself in something that's obviously like a threat to you safety wise, but just
Yeah.
uncomfortable personally will make you be better because then it'll make the show 10 times better. Like if you do a show after a mic like that where it's all dudes and none of them have laughed, like your show can only go up from there because if people are warm and responding to you, you'll be like, thank God, because I just came from a room where no one cared
Hmm.
and I had to fight through it and tell the jokes. So yeah, it's rough, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. And one more thing, I should have asked it earlier, but is it more like if someone is like want to be a stand-up comedian, it's like something like you have it or don't have it, or you can develop it eventually.
Like you have the skills or you don't.
Yes.
I think it's a mixture. I think stand up is definitely something you can work at and get better at by all means. But I do think comedy is a lot like music, and people are either have a musically inclined ear
Mhm.
where let's say they have perfect pitch or they just they're more rhythmic and they naturally are musically talented. I think the same with comedy because you can't teach someone timing. You can't teach someone inherently if you look or you land on this or you do this and that. It's just kind of your being, your essence. And I think we're all funny in different ways, but there's people that just kind of have an inherent sense of comedic timing and humor, and I think that's not teachable. But I think this skill itself of like stand up, if you're funny, you can definitely, it's something that's learned. You learn joke structure, you learn how to write, you learn the technicalities, you learn the business, and that's definitely learnable. Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It was so fun to talk about everything, not just stand up, not just music or
Mhm.
acting, but talk about everything. So it was very fun discussion. I
Yeah,
appreciate you having me.
thank you. And any future projects that you want to plug in?
There's a lot, but music, I'm always working on stuff
Mhm.
every day. That's all through Universal. I am working on my friend's film. I'm going to music supervise his film, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be like a gay bridesmaids, which
Oh,
is going to be so fun and
yes.
campy. I'm very excited to be collaborating with him.
Hmm.
And then acting, there's a lot of pending stuff right now. I did two auditions today that I may hear from this week or in a few weeks or never. Who knows? So acting is a lot of pending stuff in the works. We'll see what's meant to be. And then stand up, my next show is on Saturday and it's at Flappers. I love Flappers. And it's actually on the outdoor patio, which will be cool. I've done shows in the Yoo-Hoo room and then the main room, but I haven't done a show
Mhm.
in the patio, so that'll be kind of fun. And it's next Saturday, the 27th at 10.
Great. It was amazing to talk to you. Hopefully, we'll get a part two of this episode in the future. So
Yeah,
please
I
keep me
hope so.
posted and have a good night and take
Thank
care.
you so
And
much. Likewise, I'm going to start watching all those dark comedy movies you recommended.
yes, yes, I can send you the whole list afterwards. I will
Yes.
send you on the DMs.
Good. Good. Please
Okay.
do. And then I'll send you my rom-coms and reality TV shows back.
Yes. And we will have a quiz on that. I don't know afterwards.
A pop quiz live on the next
Yes.
episode.
Yes, absolutely.
Subscribe to my channel.
Please, 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 I'm begging you. Please. I'm desperate. I don't know what to do. Please subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe for more content.